Welcome back to a new era, guys. Anuj here, and actually welcome back to myself because it's been like 4 weeks. But yes, I am back and a lot of changes have been made. One of them actually being the fact that I've changed from Android to iPhone, and in my case particularly I've changed to the iPhone 12 Pro. Hopefully you guys can see it. Anyway, let's check it out. Dang it! So just to give you guys a little bit of context, this is not going to be about like the specs of phones. I just know what I need to know as a filmmaker, and that's what I'm going to be talking about relative to the phones. So yeah, I'm actually an Android user from day one. I got my first phone in 11th grade, so that's like 2013, and it was actually a Galaxy S6 or something. But then yeah, fast forward a couple years later, and I got into filming a little bit, but I didn't have enough money for a camera, so I ended up using my phone as a camera, and I used to film dance videos for people. And that's actually where this phone, which is the Galaxy Note 9, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the it is the Galaxy Note 9. It is the Galaxy Note 9, and I would just go out, take my friend's phone gimbal, so thank you, Alex, I appreciate that, and I would just go film dance videos, and they turned out pretty good. I actually use this as a second camera for the behind the scenes videos you guys have seen on this channel. But anyways, as time passed on, you know, it's 2021 now, I got more serious about filmmaking. I had to upgrade, and I don't have money for like a second camera just yet, or I wouldn't want to spend it on that yet. But that ended having me think about what I really wanted to, you know, pursue in terms of phone technology, and it just so happened that it was time to turn from the Note 9 to the iPhone 12 Pro. And so I do have a couple reasons why, and here's rule number one, or not rule number one, sorry. Here's reason number one. So the first reason is workflow. And so what I mean by workflow is just the perspective I come from when it comes to like choosing my phones. It's because I'm going to be a filmmaker and I'm trying to make a living out of it as of right now. So I'm really considering how my phone can contribute to my workflow, right? Because we have Instagram, we have all types of social media on our phones, and that's how we mainly access things. And also it's how we communicate with each other. And so the fact is, most people have iPhones nowadays, and I have an Android at the time, right? Which is gonna be this Note 9. And so because I had an Android, it was sometimes really hard to communicate with other people in terms of phone to phone, right? So for example, sometimes I would get files from my friends who would have iPhones or whatever, and the files wouldn't open or would be corrupted, or something would go wrong just because the file difference or like the file extraction from phone to phone just didn't work out that day. And it would suck so much because I would have to find some third-party app or fourth party, fifth party, sixth party, who knows, and just figure out a way how to really make the files open up, right? So that was one reason. The workflow just needed to be smoother. And now that I have an iPhone 12, that workflow of just, you know, file to file transfers and whatnot has just become so much easier, and I don't have to deal with any like corruption or anything of that nature. We have FaceTime, which is amazing because now I can easily, you know, call someone, and not over Facebook Messenger, you know, in terms of like video calling. And that's actually so amazing. It actually is really good. I really like FaceTime. Like, I'm FaceTiming everyone. I don't think I call anymore. I just FaceTime everyone. Is that a thing for iPhone users? Okay. Another thing is Airdrop. Airdrop is just so nice to communicate between devices. I just did like my second Airdrop ever like 3 days ago, and I was so amazed by like how smooth and how quick that went. I was like, oh my god, this is just like tap and go. And speaking of device to device, I have a PC still. I don't have a Mac computer or a laptop. And the reason for that is because I built my PC, so it's gonna have a lot of longevity in the fact that I can just replace parts in order to update them. And also I just like the customization a lot more. I just can make things look a lot cooler. But in terms of connecting my iPhone to my PC, unfortunately I cannot do things like Airdrop, though that would be freaking amazing. But I still do have Google Drive, and that just does the job well. I just transfer it to Google Drive, and then I just download it on my phone. Quality doesn't drop, it's all good. But the last reason within like the reason of workflow is also the fact that now social media has become a huge thing for me. Believe me, high school me, 11th grade Samsung user, dude, I did not care about social media at all. Actually, I didn't care till like a year ago. But you know, now that I'm trying to make it more of like my job, my Instagram is slowly and surely becoming a little bit of a portfolio. I do care about, you know, how I access my social media and how compatible my phone can be in terms of a lot of things. And one of them, actually the next reason, is just color display. So when it comes to color display, which is my second reason as to why I chose the iPhone, the fact is the iPhone color display is what everybody sees nowadays. So that means when I'm editing, when I'm, color grading my videos and whatnot, it's gonna be more often than not looked at through the iPhone, not the Android. And so the Android's actually more saturated, or at least in my experience, the color display in Android is more saturated than the iPhone. And so a lot of the times I would edit to look at my videos and my photos from my Android versus an iPhone, right? And so when I would see my videos or photos on a friend's iPhone or whatever, my colors would actually be off. I would get messages of people saying you have like a more yellowish grayish tinge, and I was like, wait, what? Because on my end from Android, it looks perfect. It looks like good oranges, good whites, good blues, whatever, right? And so that became an issue to the point I was like, okay, it's the display. It's not me necessarily editing wrong. It's that my taste has been built for Android so far in terms of color grade. And now that I've changed to iPhone, I can actually edit to the colors that everyone else sees and actually make it more accurate that way. By the way, quick tip for those who also have the iPhone 12 Pro, there's like this issue about a yellow tinge. And so you can actually get rid of that yellow tinge by going to your settings, typing in True Tone and turning that off. And that'll make sure that you have a more white display versus like a yellowish tinge on the display. So the last and final reason I changed to iPhone is that the fact that I would like to have a second camera. And what I mean by that is when I'm a filmmaker, I actually do need a second camera to capture like behind the scenes, or if I'm trying to show how something is done, I want a second camera from another angle. And so I would actually originally use my Android to do that. So basically in all the past videos you've seen, my Android would do all the behind the scenes. And the Android would actually do a really good job. Like it wasn't like you couldn't watch it, and it wasn't like I was using the audio from the Android itself. So it didn't really matter as long as the video quality was pretty good. And this was 4K. But now that I have this iPhone, it's just the quality has just gone up to another level. Like phone technology amazes me. You can do a whole photo shoot with an iPhone 12 and it's kind of ridiculous. Just to do a comparison, though this is an unfair comparison because this phone came like 2 years ago and this one came out now. So you can see a couple photos. I did take the photos in the dark because I really wanted to test their capabilities, and I know like based on how well they do in the dark, they'll do that much more exceptionally during the day. And so you can see the Android pictures are a lot more faded. The colors are a little like kind of just like not as pretty or not as vibrant, but in an accurate way. But the iPhone 12 does that just fine. Like it, even in the dark, as long as it has a decent amount of light, it kills it. We can also compare the videos. I just made a quick little sequence about like my camera on a gimbal. You can see that once again the iPhone just trumps it in terms of quality, in terms of just the presentation of the video. Yeah, it totally outclasses this phone. And like I mentioned before, this is probably not a good comparison, but this is what I had to do, what I wanted to do. And now that I have the iPhone 12, it's almost as if I have another real camera. Granted, it's not like another Sony a7S III, or not S3, another a7 III, but it does get the job done. So while the iPhone 12 is basically just a phenomenal phone, and the interface is super smooth, well, you can't really, oh, yeah. Oh, speaking of interface, look at my, hold up. Look at my screensaver, pretty cool, huh? Itachi and Sasuke, favorite characters of all time. Well, just Itachi, Sasuke is there, but Itachi's the best. Oh, wow, it blacked on you, but here you go, once again. Yeah, the interface is super smooth, it feels really modern, the iPhone 12 just looks aesthetically pleasing. There are a couple issues I do have with it, especially just being an Android user, and the more I use the iPhone 12, the more I just like I get really mad, because there's certain things in the user interface that you guys don't have. So for example, Android actually has a universal back button, but the iPhone 12, as to my knowledge, does not, and you guys like swipe right, but iPhone users swipe right to go backwards. And that's not really good for every situation, because sometimes you can't do that in like certain pop-ups or whatever, and it gets really annoying really fast. Also, something that really pisses me off is the fact you can't see the metadata of your photos and videos without a third-party app. I think that's so dumb. Why? Especially for me who uses this phone for like film, sometimes I want to see if I shot a video in 60 FPS or 30 FPS or whatever. And I can't see that right away. That just really gets on my nerves. There's a couple other things, but I think they're things you just kind of have to get used to as being an iPhone user. Other than that, the iPhone's great. It's fantastic. And now if you found this video useful or insightful, definitely hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe, because we do really have some interesting things coming up. Like next week, I'm not gonna say there's gonna be potentially like a drone you know, flying with the iPhone 12 on it, but that could be the case. I don't really know. Gonna test it out tomorrow. But yes, subscribe. I will see you guys next week. Wednesdays is when we upload, or I upload. So yeah, see you guys next time. Dang it, what is wrong? Oh, I snap on my right.